In this video, we're having a look at the E3 Pro electric foldable scooter from Segway. Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. So this is a foldable electrical scooter, as you can see, with tons of features. So let's jump in and get started with it. It's not tiny, it's not small. It's about the size of me, which is, I suppose, a little bit small, but that's neither here nor there. In terms of pricing, I've found it anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 Australian online. So that's what you're looking to pay for it. But what are you getting for that money? So tons of features. Let's first talk about the foldability of it. So you saw there, it's quite easy to unfold. Let me show you how easy it is to actually fold it. So you make sure that the kickstand is up, and then there's a little thing down here that says push. So you push this up, and then this flicks down. You pop this up so it can catch on the back. We'll get into that in a moment. And then now here's the thing that really confused me, because I thought you just kind of pull back. No, you have to push this lever down. So with my foot, I'm pushing that down, and it kind of clicks, and then it clicks in down like that, and then they actually tell you to lift it from the stem. Now, it's not the lightest thing in the world. I wouldn't want to carry it around for a long time. But, you know, if you're just sort of getting to the office, or you're getting to uni, and you just want to sort of get it up a couple of stairs or something, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Now let's talk about some of the other cool features that this has. I'll talk about some of the physical stuff and the specs, and we'll get into some of the things. It's got a lot of app features as well, which I'll get onto in a bit. So in terms of basic specs, range is about 55 kilometers. Obviously that varies on distance, weight, all sorts of different things. Top speed is 25 kilometers an hour. It's got 3 speed modes. It can carry up to 100 kilograms, which is a fair bit of weight. Some really nice extra features is it does have suspension on both the front and the back wheel. So in terms of ride comfort, and I've ridden a few electric scooters now, this is exceptionally good over bumps and, you know, rough surfaces, things like that. So basically almost any surface in Melbourne is going to be a lot more comfortable riding on it. Brakes, in terms of braking, some really nice stuff about this. So it's got a normal sort of drum brake here on the front, but then it's got electronic brakes on the back. So it actually does do regenerative braking, which is really nice. Now, I was told in the manual that it didn't have that turned on by default. So the manual says that regenerative braking is not turned on by default, but I actually found that when I set this up, the regenerative braking was activated by default, but you can turn that on and off in the menu. In terms of other stuff, you've got your throttle over here and your button on the right hand side. On the left hand side you have a bell, which is just a simple, nothing electronic about that. Also on the left hand side you've got these 2 indicators, and the way the indicators work is you push on that, and there you go, you got the indicators, and that goes on the front and the back there. Then push it again to switch it off, and then you do the right hand side indicator and you switch it off. I think in the US you call those turn signals. I like the word indicator because it indicates to everyone around you what you're going to do. So that's why I like the phrase indicators. It does have a really decent light here on the front, and it also has brake lights on the back. It does, the way I would describe it would be mood lighting on the bottom, which is quite cool, which again can be controlled by the app. And then it's got a really nice screen here to give you your speed, what drive mode you're in, all that kind of stuff. To switch it on, you hold down the power button for about 3 seconds, turns on, and there you go, you see how the screen is on. So you've got your speed, you've got battery levels. To change the drive mode, so at the moment it's in drive, I just push this button twice. It's now in sports mode. I push it again twice. It's now in sort of eco mode. And then I go back to drive, which is just like your middle of the range mode. Your speed will be limited in eco mode. Now, in terms of how this comes, and I think it's important to mention how this was, it came in a box obviously, but there's loads of stickers on it and QR codes and things like that to help you get it set up. And I really appreciate that, because I find sometimes, particularly if people are using something, you know, for the first time, or something new, something like that, they might be a little bit intimidated, particularly with the technology side of it. So I really like how, as you get it, as you're taking it out of the box, there's QR codes, there's instructions on the box and on the stickers to really help you take you step by step in setting it up and getting up and running and getting started with it. Now, I mentioned earlier the app. So the app is really, really nice in terms of some things you've got. So here is the app here. You can see that it shows you when you get into it. Now, one thing that I did notice is there was almost a two-step process to setting it up. There was a QR code to connect the scooter to the app, but then I did still have to sign in and create an account with the app. And one little caveat with this, and I think this is something I'll let Segway know about this, and hopefully they can sort this out. When I set up new accounts and everything, I'm an Apple user, as you may have guessed, and I use Apple's email thing where they'll create like a fake email, and that way, you know, it'll forward onto your normal Apple email, but it doesn't give your actual Apple email out, so each individual company's got whatever you give them. I found that I couldn't sign up with that email because there's a point in the process where they've got to send you a code to verify that you are who you are, all that kind of stuff, and it just wouldn't accept that email. I had to put in my actual email for that. Not a big deal, but just if you get to that stage and get stuck on that, if you're using that, be aware that you may have to use an actual proper email. It doesn't seem to like relay emails. So here we are in the app. I really like how, you know, in general settings, you've got start speed, so you can set it, so you do have to actually sort of roll a little bit, so you can set it to only actually allow you to start at 4 or 5 kilometers per hour instead of just 3 kilometers per hour. You've then got energy recovery, so that is the regenerative braking, and so here I can assign it to either be weak, disabled, or standard. In fact, I'm just going to go with weak, and we'll go with that. Then if I go into my dashboard, this gives you your remaining mileage. Yeah, remaining mileage. So according to this, it reckons that with 90% of the battery, I can probably get about 36 kilometers range out of this. It shows you your voltage, this ride, so on and so forth. This is like since you switched it on. You've then got guard mode. So this is now locked. So if you left this somewhere and obviously you locked it up, but someone could pick it up and walk away with it, but someone can't actually use it until you come here and slide to unlock. So that's a really nice feature. And then if we go and sort of dive in here into the settings, you've got loads of other features in here. So I've got lighting effect, and this is where you've got the mood lighting underneath, which, I mean, I don't know how often I would use it, but you know, why not? It's nice that it's there. Again, I can change the start speed again a little bit. You've got your energy recovery set, cruise mode. So you do have cruise control on this as well. So if you get to a certain speed and then you hold down the accelerator, you notice because it's not moving, I'm holding down the accelerator and ain't nothing happening. So it's, you know, perfectly safe from that point of view. You can set your metrics, so either the metric system or imperial. You've got your lock function. You've got traction control where you can turn on and off. So traction control is nice. So if you're going to be on particularly, let's say, unsmooth surfaces or slippery surfaces, it's been raining a little bit, you got traction control on here, which is nice. It is IPX5, I think. I'll put it down here as a title. Can't remember exactly, but it's water resistant, but they say in the manual don't ride it in the rain, so it's not waterproof. So definitely, if it starts raining, see if you can get under cover, and you don't want it to get wet. Ideally, also you don't want water splashing up against the battery down there at the bottom. Yeah, and so as you can see, loads of different features and functions that you've got in the app, which some really nice stuff that you can do with it. I've just jumped in here for a sec because it started raining. I'll go outside. I'll go back outside in a little bit. So I want to talk about who is this scooter for. I think, you know, a whole host of different people. I think the first group that comes to mind is definitely people who live in the inner city. So if parking is a bit of an issue and you don't have to go particularly far distance, I mean 55k is still pretty decent, but like, you know, if you lived in the inner city or nearabouts, being able to hop around with this instead of having to find parking for a car, super convenient. Students, obviously. I did a little bit of testing here on the grass, and it does go off-road, but you know, it goes outside. So, you know, if you're taking it away for the weekend, I think that could be useful as well. Something that I've found really useful for having scooters is being an electric car driver. Like if we go away for the weekend, there might be a charger that's near where we're staying, but it's not that near. Like if it's, let's say, if it's a half-hour walk away, like I'll take the car, I'll park the car, and I'll walk back and then go back and pick up the car after it's finished charging. But if it's 45-minute walk away or an hour's walk away, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered. Whereas, you know, I could keep that, I could just have that in the boot, drop the car off, plug it in, scoot back to where we're staying, do whatever I need to do, and then when the car's finished charging. Now, I'll mention it's on a slow charge, that's why it's taking longer, because normally, like if, you know, if supercharging, the car's going to charge really quickly. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, so I think it is quite useful. I mean, even just something as simple as coming down here to film this, you know, my thought was, I don't know if I can be bothered to get in the car and do this and do that, and just being like, oh, you know what, I could just unfold the scooter and just scoot down to the park. there's a lot of convenience to it. Yeah, so I think even ways that I hadn't thought of the convenience and the usefulness of having a scooter, I think there's a fair bit there. But now let's have a look at what this is actually like to ride. So you get up to 3 k's an hour and then you hold down on the throttle and away you go. Now I'm feeling the regenerative braking kicking in, which is not too strong, but again, I think I've set it to standard or weak. And this is just in the drive mode. It kicks in pretty damn quick and the brakes work pretty darn well. So in terms of functionality, yeah, you know, it's definitely got actually that's in drive mode. Let's put it into speed mode and let's see how zippy it is in speed mode. Oh, that definitely picks up. Yeah, you definitely feel the difference when you're in speed mode. Ooh. And the brakes work just fine. So that is a look at the Segway E3 Pro. So what are my final thoughts? I think for the money, I think it's really good value. Oh, hello, easy tiger. I think it's really good value. You're getting a very, very smooth ride. I think that's probably one of the biggest selling points for me, is how smooth the ride is, how comfortable the ride is with that dual suspension built in. The brakes, I like how you've got, again, dual brakes. You've got, you know, sort of proper brakes on the front. You've got the regenerative braking on the back. You've got the bell, which is, as much as I love the digital stuff, I like that it's got an analog bell. That's kind of cool. The indicators are pretty cool. I like that. I'm not sure how useful the indicators are going to be because I'm quite wide, so I'm not sure how well people are going to be able to see the indicators past me, but you know, on the front they're going to see it, so that's good, I suppose. Really easy to use, really easy to get, you know, to get your hands into it. Pretty easy to work out. I like the foldability. I'm not sure, you know, it's still pretty heavy, so that's definitely something to keep in mind, that it's not the lightest thing in the world, but you know, if you had to carry it up a couple of flight of stairs, it's easy enough to pick up and take up a couple of flight of stairs. Yeah, so overall I think it's pretty good value for what you're getting. The Find My functionality is really, really good. The app accessibility is really cool. Yeah, I think if you are in the market for an electric scooter, and this is sort of like in your price range, I think value for money, what you're getting for the E3 Pro Segway, is definitely worth having a look at. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was useful. If you have found it helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for your support. We'll catch you next one. Safe and happy scooting. So a little point, you may notice that this is a branded 9-bot helmet, and I actually want to say thank you to Segway, because even though, you know, they're sending me a scooter to review, and you know, their assumption might be, hey, look, if you said you're going to review a scooter, you've probably got a helmet, but just in case, to be responsible and be respectful, we're going to send you a helmet just to be on the safe side. And I really do appreciate the fact that they were thoughtful enough to send a helmet. I really do appreciate it. Now, for the even mildly observant amongst you, you will have noticed almost right away that I have done something quite silly, which is actually quite typical of me. I've put this on backwards. So I'm going to undo all the screws and put it on the right way around, and I will be back with you momentarily. You know, I kind of wondered why the text on that was on backwards. It wasn't on backwards, it was that I'd put it on backwards. God, I can be so silly sometimes. I think I was so focused on, you know, getting everything right that I yeah, just got even the bare basics wrong. There's a little push button here, so you push that up and down, and then ow, ow, ow. Well, we can cut to that because we're going to do a close-up of that. So when it comes to folding it, the first thing you do is you ow! You did it twice in a row to yourself, you numpty. Ow. Okay, how are we going to do that? Yeah, do it slow. Do it slow. Ah, ow.